Welcome back to Inside Findlay Trojans Athletics here on FindlayTrojans.com and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griever, joined by Findlay AD Nate Weihrauch. Nate, good to have you back with us here once again here on the podcast. We've got a lot of really good stuff to talk about this week, and also looking forward as we head and have the month of October in our sights. Let's get things going here with cross country, and a pretty big and a pretty unique event they had the opportunity in at Seneca East this past week with the Stars, Lights, and Stripes event. So really, obviously, a very special day that was on Saturday, very solemn day as well, but an opportunity to nevertheless get some competition in there at Seneca East. And we look at the schedule coming up here. St. Francis de Sales is ahead, also out to Owens Community College on the 25th for meets as we build up to the track championships, which is crazy to think about. It's just about a month away. Right. That seems like we're already at that point there. Are we at this point in the season with cross country still still full systems go at this juncture, still a month out from the track championships? And if that's the case, has there been any kind of indication when we maybe see the runners start to taper their training a little bit so that they're full go for the track championships?
Yeah, I really have been seeing a lot of development with some of our athletes there. I think that we're still pacing things down out. We have, I look at Adrian Stuckshorty, for example. Last week he ran. It was like over 18, so it was 18:30, I believe it was. And this week he came on back and ran a minute better. So he's only a freshman. So, I'm hoping we're not to the point where we're peaking right now, as you mentioned. But I'm seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of development and that growth that's still going on. I was excited this past week, though, having the opportunity to go out there into the Seneca East to the Stars and Stripes competition, and that you alluded to earlier. And it was our first night competition. So cross country, right? First night competition. And it went really well. Our boys finished, let's see, seventh, and our girls finished eighth out of 17 teams. And, I worried about being a night competition, right? Because if you're a runner, I ran cross country back in middle school in seventh grade, and you want to know where you're stepping. So I was a little concerned about, we don't want to be twisting any ankles or anything with injuries. Are the coaches going to be able to see the kids from a distance and tell them where they're at with their splits? But our boys have some uniforms that are stripes, right? So back in the 60s, we had some striped uniforms, so we brought that tradition back. But thankful enough that they had some yellow to it, so we could see everybody. Yeah. But it was awesome. They had fireworks, and so we were pretty pleased.
Yeah, good way to a unique opportunity. As you said, it's a very different challenge to your point there, running at night, not sure of your footing, all that kind of stuff. But you should also go a bit of a throwback with the uniforms. Yeah, that's a nice way to help out things there as well. Let's switch gears. Let's move on to the golf teams and the way we look at it right now. And we'll start with the boys first. Tied with St. Francis de Sales for second the track. Everybody chasing St. John's Jesuit at this point, but we have a pretty big event coming up this Saturday with the Trojan, and also the track championship coming up on the 22nd. So pretty big 2 weeks coming up here. If you could, first of all, just kind of take us through this Trojan event here, what to expect, how that all comes together.
Well, we're pretty fortunate. We really, truly are. We have the Findlay Country Club and the members. So the members actually put this event on, and it's one of the most prestigious events in Ohio. It really is. I mean, we have teams from Cincinnati, from Moeller, coming, Upper Arlington, New Albany. So we get the best coming. Dublin Jerome obviously has a tremendous golf program. So they all come on in for this one big event here, and like I said, our members of the country club put this on, and it's top notch all the way. It really is, and like I said, it's good competition. It's good competition. So,
is it an idea there also with bringing everybody in, but also getting a look at some teams and some players who your boys could eventually be matched up against down the road in a sectional or district or even beyond?
Yeah. I mean, certainly we want to get to that level of consistency and see those teams. And I mean, when you get to that level, you have crowds of people following you. And whenever I go to a golf event, I always try to try to stay back in the back, just because I don't want to make the kids nervous or anything like that. But they need to get to that stage. You go to the Scarlet course or, down state championships, there's crowds of people. And obviously these are the top kids in the state of Ohio at the high school level that are playing. So, so there's some of those nerves around, hopefully on our home course, right, that we can, we can do well.
Making things a little more comfortable in that perspective, knowing that they're on the home course there for sure. Over on the girls' side, the team firmly locked into third place in the track standings here, a bit behind second, well above fourth right now. So we kind of know where we are in that regard here. You've got the NWO GTL Championship coming up on Wednesday. You've got another track meetup coming up is on Thursday, and then the track championships on the 21st. So like the boys, the girls have a very, very busy and very important 10-day stretch here. From what you've seen and maybe talking to Coach Metz, how are they preparing for this run right here that can really set up a lot as far as the postseason goes?
Yeah, it comes down to, even on the boys' side, right? And we talked about this last week. It's just that consistency that we need to have. We need that leadership coming out. I mean, we had Casey Tate, for example. She's a phenomenal golfer, and she's one of those girls that's probably going to be playing at the next level. I mean, she was all league last year, and we just need to get that leadership from her and from Abby Powell, another senior or a senior here, and just need to get that consistency to help out some of those younger kids. With the Nawago coming on up, we have a competition today with Clay and so forth. So I'm excited for the championships, and I'm excited for our girls. Coach Metz is doing a fantastic job. She's so positive. Every time I see her, she's smiling. So bless her heart. She's doing a great job, and so is our girls. So just got to stay healthy too. Everything's, you have a possibility of COVID and all that stuff going around. So we just need to make sure that we can stay consistent across the board.
And thankfully, that hasn't really played a big factor at this point in the season. Knock on wood. Hopefully that continues going forward, especially through these next 2 weeks, which can really kind of set things up, as I said, for the long haul there. Let's switch gears. Let's move on to the soccer pitch now. Let's talk about the boys first. Unbeaten on the year at 4-0-3. But also a really, really good result against Mason on Saturday and a draw there. Mason is one of the top teams in the state. They will be at the end of the season. So really, really good showing there. But we're also going to get back into league play with St. John's Jesuit coming up on Tuesday. And I'm looking at the results of the Mason match, and I see the results coming in and see your keeper, Andrew Sorg, only had to make 2 saves in this match. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really impressive because Mason is very, very good. But you look at deeper into the numbers here, Ryan Schindeldecker, Ethan Hurst, Davis Sprague combined for 39 intercepts and 21 steals. That's a really good number from guys back in defense ahead of your keeper. So I'm wondering in that regard what the coaching staff had to say about this defensive performance and if they feel like that can be carried into league play.
Yeah, it's Mason it was a fun game to watch. It was a fun game to watch, and it was very physical across the board. And me being I'm more of a defensive minded person anyways, whether it be football or basketball or soccer, but I love those kids' intensity, and they're very physical back there, doing it the right way. But they are physical, and they're very quick. They have good ball skills. I will say, we go against, as you mentioned, Toledo St. John's on Tuesday, right? They play on turf. We're natural grass. Mason, I believe, is all turf down there. We're natural grass. So I think it's a different game with turf, compared to a natural grass field. But I tell you what, Andrew Sorg has been doing a fantastic job this past year. We had a great win against Perrysburg too, right? And so we won against 4-3. They scored, it was 3-3. And then 30 seconds later, with about 3 minutes left to go in the game, I believe it was Andrew Alsop ended up putting one in the back of the net. So I'm very, very pleased right now with our boys soccer team. Obviously being undefeated. Hopefully we go to keep on going down that path, because St. John's is one heck of an opponent there. And anytime that you go up there and that up in Toledo, it's going to be great competition.
Yeah, very good litmus test to find out where you are as we turn towards the second half of the season for sure. Over on the girls' side of things, they have a pretty big one coming up this Wednesday with Notre Dame Academy coming in. Battle of first place teams there in the track. It is early in the season, but nevertheless, tie for first place. There's a lot worse places you could be this early in the season. But we also look at the schedule. It's going to begin a stretch of 5 of the next 7 at home. And so really good opportunity to start piling up the wins in that regard as well. And so I'm wondering, with the way the schedule is broken at this point, how far can that go and help setting things up for the team to challenge for the league title, knowing they've got a bunch of matches in a row right now in league play, and they're at home for them?
Yeah, it's our coaches, I think our parents too, are going to be pretty excited. I mean, to be back at home, right? We were supposed to play Sylvania Southview earlier in the year at home for our home opener, and they had some issues with some COVID issues and concerns. So we actually rescheduled that to October 9th. We rescheduled that to October 9th, and sorry, my watch went off here, but
it's okay. You're a busy man.
But our girls are, we're excited. We're 2-0 in league play right now, 2-0 in league play, and so this is a huge game against Notre Dame. And anytime that you play Notre Dame, St. Ursula, Oregon Clay, and we actually have Oregon Clay. I think it's the following Wednesday on the 22nd too. So it's going to be a tough stretch of games here. We're at Northview on Saturday. We're at, and then we have Monday. We have Perrysburg at home. So we're thankful that we're back at home and we're not the road warriors, so to speak, anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And but as you said, no days off during this stretch here, so even more of a benefit to be at home here. Let's switch gears and move on to the tennis courts right now. And tennis team off to a nice start in the league at 3-1 right now, right behind Notre Dame and St. Ursula. And on top, this past weekend showed very, very well at the Fremont doubles tournament, finishing runner-up there. So we're taking momentum into a pretty big showdown with Notre Dame coming up this Tuesday. You also have the track championships coming up later on next week. I'm wondering, with the way the girls are playing right now, in particular, we'll see what happens with this Notre Dame matchup. And with the way they finished at Fremont, are we seeing an instance here with this tennis team where they are starting to peak at the right time and can go into this Notre Dame matchup and also the track tournament knowing they're playing their best tennis of the season?
Yes, I hope that we're peaking at the right time, right? We had a little setback with St. Ursula last week, and then we faced them again in the Ohio Coaches Tennis Association tournament, and suffered a little setback with those guys at that point in time again. But our girls are playing well. We had, as you had mentioned, and we're runner-up to Northview, Fremont doubles, and hats off to Mia and Ava for their. For winning their title on the third doubles, and then on the fourth doubles, Tabitha and Katie did a fantastic job as well. So hopefully we are peaking at the right time, especially if we've got Notre Dame here on Tuesday. So
a really big matchup there for sure. Speaking of Notre Dame, your volleyball team is going to take them on this coming Thursday. It actually gets going league play. Volleyball's currently sitting at 5-2 right now, so really good action from them to begin here. They're going to spend a little time on the road here the next week or so. They'll come back home on the 23rd on Teacher Appreciation Night against Clay. Very nice of you to have that set up there to honor the teachers and for all that they do for the student athletes, for sure. One young lady I want to get your thoughts on here today, though, is Ashley Robinson and the way she kind of sets up the offense. And I go back to the win against Whitmer recently and seeing some of the numbers there and seeing that she doled out 34 assists and also had 6 aces in the match. So really a complete offensive performance from Ashley in this win against Whitmer there. And so with that, I'm wondering, and seeing it yourself or talking to the coaching staff, how much better does Ashley make this team when she is in top form like she was against Whitmer?
Yeah, she's an incredible gal. I mean, she's a nice, polite young lady. You see her in the hallway, and she's always smiling. How are you doing, Mr. Weihrauch? That type of thing. But she had against Perrysburg too. She had. You need to have that leadership, right? I mean, it was a little setback for us against Perrysburg, but she had, I think, 21 assists and 10, 11 digs. So we need that leadership, not only by her, but Alexis Buttlemeyer and some of our other seniors. We have 6 seniors there, and. But she's done a great job for us.
Over on the football side of things now, let's talk there. We did get a win over Bowling Green on senior night a couple of weeks back, so that was a really nice way to send the seniors off here as we honor them early in the season. And then get into track play, and Central Catholic really got the best of you on that night. But we're sitting 2-2 overall thus far, and looking up the next couple of weeks, we've got Whitmer and then a homecoming date against Fremont Ross on the 24th. Those two teams are playing very, very well thus far. They're a combined 7-1 on the year. As we're heading into this 2-game stretch here against some top teams in the league, is there one thing in particular that stands out to you maybe about what the team has to do in these next couple of weeks to try and get a couple of wins here? And then also focusing on homecoming on the 24th here, what can fans expect as far as the entire day goes there?
Well, from the football side of things, I know we had a tough setback with Central Catholic, but we remained positive. Greg Dempsey does a fantastic job over there with Central. I believe they've won 3 state championships, but he does things the right way. Great program. But I saw some nice things I thought we did a better job stopping the run. I think that what we need to do is, certainly we need to put some more points on the board, and try to get some those guys involved there. It's always good to be able to run the ball, and but when you're going against teams like Central, and Whitmer's going to be the same way this week, is they're physical. It's very physical. We've got to be able to match that intensity and get off that ball and obviously score some points and then stop them in return. So Whitmer is going to be they're a fantastic team, and that tradition that they've always carried with them along the way. And Fremont Ross, I tell you what, they might be. They're one of the league across the board this year is very, very. I don't want to say even, but it's tough. Every week in and week out is going to be tough, and it's that grind. I think last week we talked about that grind from. We got Central Catholic, last week, and now we got Whitmer, we got Fremont Ross for homecoming, and the Fremont. I tell you what, they have some athletes across the board, and I believe they put up 48 in the first quarter and a half against Oregon Clay this past weekend. So they are a very, very talented team, and so it's a tough competition for homecoming, right? We're going to start those festivities. The game starts at 7:00. We usually have that parade downtown where it starts at 5:30, and we usually get to the stadium about 6:15, and then student council kind of takes over a little bit about the king and queen, and hopefully our kids stay focused and we're ready to roll and against Fremont on the 24th. So that'll be blue and gold day. So we're your blue and gold.
Yes, make sure we're dressed appropriately for that one in the proper colors there, for sure. As we're wrapping up the episode this week here, we're looking forward, and the next time we reconvene, we'll kind of be wrapping up the month of September, going into October here. As we've seen, we've been able to have more of a quote unquote normal season this year compared to what we had a year ago, and so with that, as we're kind of at the midway point of the fall sports season, I'm just wondering from your perspective and kind of overseeing all of the athletic operations there at Findlay, kind of your thoughts on how things have operated to this point, the support you've gotten from your staff, coaches, families in the area. What's that all been like for you to observe in making sure that we can get a full sports season and for all of our fall student athletes?
Yeah, I tell you what, we're pretty blessed around here. We really have been. Everything that we've gone through the last 19 months. Now they may be going somewhere on else, but athletically, I think we've done a decent job communicating with everybody about what's going on each week, because different venues have different, restrictions and so forth. Currently we are optional, but I think our parents and our kids have been outstanding. They have been across the board, and it's with everything that each of us is all going through. It certainly is challenging, but I commend our parents and our kids so much. It comes down to they just want to play, our kids, and hats off to our administration with Mr. Roth and Mrs. Miller and Mr. Emke have been doing a fantastic job with everything. And like I said, it's tough. It's tough across the board, and it seems like you can't make anybody happy one way or another, right? There's just I'm just proud to be part of this district and this community, and they have I'm proud of our parents. I mean, with everything that's been going on, those kids just want to play, just like us all. So
making the best out of the situation that everybody has to deal with right now. But again, at least at this point, knock on wood, through mid-September, we're doing everything we need to do. And it allows us the opportunity to have a forum like this to talk about all that support right there and also spotlight these student athletes here. Nate, a lot of really great stuff here to talk about, including the support from the community again. And we'll look forward to it on our next episode in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate everything.
Absolutely. That is Findlay Athletic Director Nate Weihrauch joining us for Inside Findlay Trojans Athletics here on the all-new FindlayTrojans.com and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.